The Aldrich Family, based on characters originated by Clifford Goldsmith and starring Ezra Stone as Henry with Jackie Kelk as Homer.
Henry Aldrich.
Coming, Mother.
Penrod Schofield, Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn. They're more than just characters in books, for the things they say and do are the things real boys say and do. And Henry Aldrich is another of these typical American youngsters. A boy from your own block, perhaps from your own home. Now our scene opens at the Aldrich telephone.
Hello, operator. I want Elm 629.
Elm 629.
Henry, tell him exactly what you think of them. Gee whiz, they must have arrived by now.
Number, please.
Operator, I just gave it to you. Elm 629.
Henry?
Yes, Father?
Are you through with that telephone?
No, sir. I'm still trying to get my number.
Hello, Centerville Station.
This is Henry Aldrich. I sent away for a package about 10 days ago, and I wonder whether it's come yet.
A package?
Yes, sir. It's some Christmas cards.
Did you say Christmas cards?
Yes, sir.
Well, if you checked them that long ago, they've probably been thrown out by now.
What's that? Oh, I didn't check them. I'm still waiting for them.
How's that?
They're samples for next Christmas. Homer Brown and I are going to sell them from house to house, only they're not here yet, and we're worried.
Give him the deuce, Henry.
Well, you're talking with the ticket office. Hold the line. I'll connect you with the express department.
Well, that's what I want to talk to. Gee whiz.
What does he say, Henry?
He's switching me. He thinks they may have been thrown out.
Thrown out? What does he think we're going to show people for samples?
Hello, Centerville Express office.
Hello, do you have any Christmas cards there?
What's that? What did you want?
This is Henry Aldrich.
Henry Aldrich isn't here.
I know it. He's here.
Who is? Does he want to speak to me, Henry?
Let go of the receiver, Homer. You're twisting me.
Hello. Did you want the Centerville Express office?
Yes. Have Henry Aldrich's Christmas cards come?
What's that? Will you speak a little louder, please?
Where are my Christmas cards?
You know, it's a funny thing, but it sounds as though you keep saying Christmas cards.
I am. They were sent by express.
Well, this is a fine time to be calling us. You should have reported it last January.
But I just ordered them in May.
Well, why don't you come down here sometime and fill out a tracer?
But gee whiz, don't you realize there's a war bond drive on?
What's that?
We don't get those samples. We can't get any orders to buy bonds with.
I'm sorry, but you'll have to come down.
But wait, Hello? Hello?
That's telling him where to get off, Henry.
Imagine.
Henry?
Yes, Father?
Are you through?
Yes, sir, for a second. Could we ask you something?
Not until I put in my call.
But it's important.
What's it about?
Why, Christmas, Mr. Aldrich.
Will you boys please get away from this phone?
Yes, Father.
Will you let us know as soon as you can discuss it, Mr. Aldrich? Sam?
Yes, Alice. I'm going to phone Mr. Thomas.
What are you going to say to him, Sam?
I'm going to ask him quite frankly why he can't attend a few more committee meetings.
You aren't going to say anything you'll be sorry for, are you?
I'm not going to be one bit sorry. Here we are, ready to start a big bond club drive. Everybody's for it. They think it's a fine thing. But a few in this town aren't doing anything about it.
Isn't Mr. Howard helping?
He is not. There's another example. We have a chance to get some war bond show cards at cost. And Mr. Howard, the treasurer of the committee, can't show enough interest to make up his mind as to how many show cards we need.
Well, dear, if I were you, I'd resign from the committee.
And call off the war?
Well, you can't fight it single-handed.
Father?
Yes? Alice, where's the phone book?
It's right there on the stand.
I know you've got a lot on your mind, Father, but would it be all right if I should ask you just one thing?
What about?
Christmas, remember?
Christmas?
Yes, sir. Have you bought your cards yet?
Henry, will you please step out of my light while I look up this number?
Hello, operator. I want Elm 232.
No, wait a minute.
I just thought I'd ask my mother whether I can go down to the express office.
Father, where are you going?
Down to the office and put in a call.
Now then, tell me once more why you came down here to the express office.
Well, I'm Henry Aldrich, and my friend and I are going to sell Christmas cards, see?
Say that again, please. You're doing what?
We're selling Christmas cards for next Christmas.
Oh, well, I wouldn't be interested.
But wait. You told us to come down here. Here's the whole thing. We sent away for some samples, see? We're going to take orders, but you don't have to put any money down until September 1st, and we'd like to know where they are. Is that clear?
Yes. Well, what are?
Our Christmas card.
Henry, maybe I better explain it to him.
No, Homer, you'll only confuse him.
All I know is there's nothing like that here.
Well, what are we going to do? Here it is June, and Christmas is getting closer every month.
I'll say. Gee whiz, we're going to use all the profits to join the War Bond Club.
You are? Well, I'll take a good look, but I'm pretty sure that if there were any Christmas cards in this office, I'd know about it.
Could one of you boys help me with this package, please?
Yeah, sure. Hello, Mrs. Howard.
Hello, Henry. Oh, thank you so much.
That's all right. This is heavy, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you. I always said you were a gentleman.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Howard. Would you be interested in some samples of Christmas cards, provided we can find them?
That's very funny.
What is?
No, really, Mrs. Howard. We're selling them for bonds.
For what?
Don't you know? War bonds. We're going to give 10% of our income. Wouldn't you like to have us come over as soon as our samples come and take an order?
You want me to sit down on a hot day like this and pick out my Christmas cards for next winter?
Why not?
And, Mrs. Howard, I guess we haven't made ourselves clear. What they do is print your name on each card. That's what takes the time.
Sure. Especially if they print it in Old English.
You mean it takes 6 months?
Well, if you want it done right, it does.
And, Mrs. Howard, if you put it off, the first thing you know, snow will be falling and the Christmas bells will be ringing.
My goodness, what's that?
What's what? Oh, just a freight train.
Oh.
Couldn't we interest you, Mrs. Howard? Just to sort of help our drive.
Well, do you have any playing cards that aren't too fancy with just Merry Christmas on them?
Oh, yes. I'm pretty sure we have.
And they're cheap, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what you do. Mr. Howard does all the ordering, so you phone him, and if it's all right with him, it's all right with me.
Well, thanks very much. Do you want your name printed in Old English?
Yes, you might as well, as long as we've got plenty of time.
Say, Henry, there's no shipment here that I can locate.
You're sure?
Oh,
Yep.
Mr. Harris, I want to send that box of books there. Collect. It's all marked and everything.
Yes, ma'am. You want to wait for a receipt?
No, I'm in a hurry. I want to get home before I get stuck in a snowdrift.
What's that?
What's that?
Merry Christmas.
What did she say?
It's all right. Are you sure our package isn't here?
Yes, sir.
Because, gee, how are we going to buy bonds if we can't go to work?
You're buying bonds?
Sure, that's what this whole thing is about.
Sure. Henry and I are having a drive.
In conjunction with the rest of the town?
Oh, sure.
Well, I didn't know it was that important. Now, you say your package was shipped about how long ago?
10 days ago, wouldn't you say, Homer?
That's the way I figure it.
I see. Do you know whether it had anything breakable in it?
Breakable?
Yes, any glass.
Glass? No, I wouldn't say so. Would you, Homer?
No, I've never seen a glass one that I can remember.
No, I'd say definitely no glass.
Uh-huh. Well, let's fill out one of these blanks here and see whether we can get a tracer started.
And please make it urgent.
Oh, yes.
And add no glass.
Do you think it'll take very long? Because until it gets here, we're practically at a standstill.
Well, I don't suppose I ought to do it, but since it's connected with the Bond Club drive, I'll send the main express office a wire.
Hello? Hello, is this Mr. Bush's office?
Mrs. Bush?
No, this is Sam Aldrich. Say, I was just talking with Ted Thomas. I asked him to do a little work on this Bond Club committee, and he seemed very much pleased.
Yes?
In fact, he said he was for it 100%.
Fine.
The only thing is, he says he's sorry he has a couple of other things that he's going to have to give his time to, and he suggested you take his place.
That's for the bond committee, Sam?
Yes.
That's fine. That's just fine. Glad to have the opportunity. In fact, I'm 500% for it.
Well, that's fine. Now I'll tell you what we want you to do.
Now, wait, Sam, wait. Before we get too far into this, I unfortunately have a lot of work on my desk. It's already way behind.
You have?
Yes, I'm a little ashamed of myself to have let it go this far, especially at a time like this.
I see.
I'll tell you what I'll do. Get hold of John Clark. He's the man for you.
John Clark?
Yes, I was having lunch with him yesterday. He was saying he wished he could do something to help out. He said he felt so useless.
He did? Well, that's fine.
As a matter of fact, Sam, why don't you call him yourself? Easy for you to make direct contact.
All right, thanks.
Oh, that's okay, Sam. Anything else I can do? Don't hesitate calling.
Fine.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, that's a fine thing.
Here's a letter for you, Mr. Aldrich.
Thank you. Put it on my desk.
Is Mr. Bush against the bond drive?
No, he's very much for it. In fact, he's 500% for it. That's more than anyone else I've called up this morning. Did you talk to Mr. Howard?
Yes, he said he doesn't think 1,000 show cards are necessary to advertise the bond drive.
What does he want us to do? Keep it a secret?
Well, he said he wants to think it over and you're to call him back. Are you going to ask Mr. Clark to help you?
Not right away. I'm going to sit down and rest a minute.
Henry, let's see the telephone telegram the express company sent us.
I still can't believe it, Homer.
Read it again.
It says, Aldrich, Centerville, have no record shipment of Christmas trees this year. Wire further details collect.
Well, if that isn't the darndest thing, how could people be so dumb, Henry?
What do you think we ought to say in reply?
Tell them we can't understand their telegram. Will they please wire us more details?
Well, that isn't going to get us anywhere, Homer. We've got to send them a very careful explanation.
All right, only I don't know how we're going to do it in 10 words.
Why should we worry about 10 words? They say send it collect.
You got a pencil?
Sure, what do we say?
Gentlemen.
Gentlemen. Then how about don't want Christmas trees?
Sure, that'll tell them.
We cannot purchase war bonds because order we placed 10 days ago has not arrived.
Sure. Have you misplaced Christmas cards?
Some of those were New Year's cards, Homer.
They were?
Let's just say, have you misplaced holiday greetings?
That's good. That'll tell the whole story.
Here, Homer, take it over to the ticket office and finish writing it down while I phone Mr. Howard.
What for?
Tell him his wife wants him to place an order with us.
You know, the more I think about this telegram, the better I like it.
What's Mr. Howard's number?
855.
855?
Sure.
Number, please.
Elm, 855.
Elm, 855.
Henry, do you think we ought to cut out any of this just to reduce the cost?
What do you think?
Well, the only word that isn't necessary is gentlemen. Why should they have to pay to be called a thing like that?
Okay, scratch it out.
Mr. Howard speaking.
Hello, this is Henry Aldrich.
What did you say, Aldrich?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. You're calling about the cards, aren't you, Aldrich?
The cards? Yes, sir.
Well, that's a coincidence. I was just sitting here thinking about them.
You were?
About how large are they?
Well, I'm sorry, but the samples aren't here yet.
Have you any ideas of the price?
You mean by the dozen?
Oh, you aren't trying to be sarcastic, are you, Aldrich?
What's that?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do with you. If your heart's set on it, I'll settle for $500.
What's that?
But not one more. That's all we have.
500?
That's right.
Well, what kind of lettering would you like on them? Something in the way of Old English?
Old English? Don't you think block letters would be easier to read at a distance?
At a distance?
Well, they're going to be tacked up on telephone poles, aren't they?
Are they? Is this Mr. Howard?
Yes, this is still Mr. Howard.
Are you sure you want 500?
Yes, sir, we can cover this town easily with that. Goodbye.
Homer! Homer!
What, Henry?
Gee whiz, we've got to send another telegram to the express company and hurry them up.
Why?
Mr. Howard's taking 500.
In Old English?
Have you seen this, Joe?
What is it?
The adjustment desk sent it up to us. It's a telegram from Centerville, signed Aldrich.
And what's it about?
Well, I don't understand it. It says, don't want Christmas trees. Cannot purchase war bonds because order placed 10 days ago not arrived. Have you misplaced holiday greetings?
Well, that's clear enough.
What sense do you make out of it?
Well, they're having some kind of a bond drive.
But what are they using Christmas trees for?
Don't ask me. Probably for decorations. And they decided it was a bad idea.
But we don't have any shipment of trees.
All right, fine. And everybody's happy.
Yeah, but Joe, why do they say, have you misplaced holiday greetings?
Hey, what's that? Isn't that a period right after misplaced?
Is that a period?
Sure, but it ought to be a question mark. Here's how it goes. Cannot purchase war bonds because order placed 10 days ago has not arrived. Have you misplaced? Question mark. Holiday greetings, Aldrich.
What are the holiday greetings for?
I don't know. Isn't next Sunday Father's Day?
Sure, but how do they know I'm a father? And look at this, Joe. What they're looking for is a shipment of bonds.
Of war bonds?
Yeah, it says so right there. The driver's held up because we misplaced the shipment.
Gee, Bill, that's a pretty serious thing.
Telegram, Mr. Cooper. Well, what's this one about?
I don't know, but it's marked right.
Oh, it's another one from Aldrich. It says, must have shipment. Have sold 500. Holiday greetings. Polite guy, isn't he?
Hey, we're going to get into trouble, Bill. You better send that up to the superintendent and let him try to figure it out.
Now getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Henry and Homer had planned to take orders for Christmas cards in order to make enough money to buy a war bond. When the samples for the cards did not arrive, they wired the express company. They wired a second time. While the boys are waiting at the station for a second reply, the scene opens in Mr. Aldrich's office.
Hello? Is this John Clark?
This is Mr. Clark.
Well, this is Sam Aldrich, John.
Yes?
I was talking with Mr. Bush this morning about our bond drive. I wanted him to do some work on one of the committees.
Yes, is he going to?
Well, he wants to. He's for us 500%. But he's tied up right now, and he suggested I call you and see whether you couldn't help us out.
Well, that's fine. I'm glad you called.
Good. Now I'll tell you what we'd like to have you do.
Now, wait, Sam. Is this something that has to be done in the next few days?
Yes, it'll have to be.
Well, that's too bad. Because after next week, I could give you all the time you want.
But you can't right now.
Well, you know how things are in my business, Sam. I'm with you heart and soul, but my hands are tied.
I see.
You know me, Sam. I'm for this drive 1,000%. And I wish you luck.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Here's the box that just arrived, Mr. Aldrich.
A box? What's in it?
A supply of 10% pledge buttons for the bond drive.
Are they all 10%? Aren't any of them 1,000%? Hello, Sam Aldrich speaking.
This is Howard.
Yes, Howard.
Sorry I was out when you called, but I got your message.
My message?
Yes, and I don't understand it.
What message are you referring to?
Whether I prefer red or green envelopes.
For what?
For the cards, the show cards.
Why would we want envelopes for them?
That's what I'm asking you.
Well, we certainly don't want to go to the expense of ordering 1,000 envelopes.
1,000? Now look here, Aldrich. We agreed to order only 500 cards.
Oh, we did?
So let's not spend any more time discussing it. I've got a lot of things on my mind.
Are you too busy to come to a meeting at 2?
I'm afraid I am, Sam. I've got a late luncheon engagement. But you call me when it's over and let me know what you did.
Yes, of course.
Goodbye, Sam.
Goodbye.
Sam?
Alice, what are you doing down here at the office?
Sam, I thought we were going to meet for lunch. I've been waiting in front of the Emporium for half an hour for you.
I'm sorry, Alice, but I've got work to do on the Bond Club parade.
Dear, do you have to work this hard? Why can't Henry help you?
Now, Alice, what good can one boy do?
Read it again, Henry. I've already read it 4 times, Homer.
Well, read it again. I can't believe it.
Aldrich, Centerville, greetings to you. Entire force trying to trace shipment for bond drive. If unable, locate, advise reordering through Treasury Department. Please wire further wishes.
They're crazy, Henry.
And it's signed by the General Superintendent.
Well, that's what's the trouble. Do you know what my father does when he can't get action?
What?
He goes straight to the president of the company.
Does that help?
Sure, let me have your pencil.
Here. Gee whiz, don't they realize we're losing orders left and right?
And Henry, what about the big parade? We don't want to ride on the float if we haven't even bought our bonds.
That's what I say. What are you writing?
President of the Express Company. Time is growing short.
Now, how about time is shortening?
Yeah, time is shortening. Losing orders. What will we do about bond parade? Please send greetings.
That's telling them, Homer.
Do you think it's clear?
Clear? Why, it's as plain as day. And look, just as soon as we've sent this, let's call Mr. Howard again.
What for?
I just thought of something else we forgot to ask him.
Any calls while I was out for lunch, Miss Gray?
Yes, Mr. Howard. Mr. Aldrich's son phoned.
His son? What did he want?
He's apparently helping his father. He wanted to know whether you want your middle initial printed on the cards.
On what cards?
On the show cards, I imagine, for the bond drive.
They're going to print my name on them?
I imagine they are. I'm supposed to call Mr. Aldrich back.
Well, I didn't realize they were going to do anything like that.
The Aldrich boy asked about Mrs. Howard, too, but I explained that she has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, that's fine. Miss Gray, now, how many of those cards did I tell you to order?
500.
Yes, well, I don't think 500 will be enough. Do you?
I don't know, sir.
As a matter of fact, that wouldn't be anywhere near enough. Now, here's what you do. Call Sam Aldrich, see?
Yes, sir.
Tell him we want at least 1,000 cards.
With or without your middle initial?
If he doesn't mention it, don't you. After all, I don't want him to think my name has anything to do with doubling the order.
Yes, sir.
Besides, I don't really care whether the J is in or not.
Yes, Mr. Howard. Mr. Aldrich.
Yes, Miss Thompson?
The editor of the Times is here. He wants you to go over some coffee with him.
Yes, of course. Tom, come on in.
Oh, hello, Sam. I just stopped by to show you the story about the bond drive running tonight's paper.
Fine, fine.
But I give it the front page, nearly half a column.
Yes, half a column? You couldn't spare any more than that?
Well, half a column's quite a bit, Sam. Tells the whole story.
The only thing is...
Sam, you know me. I'm for this drive, but I can't overdo it. After all, my subscribers expect to find some news in the paper.
The only thing is, Tom, the other paper's going to give their entire front page. We need the same from you.
You mean some of the folks are against this drive?
No, most of this town is working its head off. But there are a few, Tom, that need waking up. They're the ones we've got to sell on investing 10% of their income for the rest of this war.
Ah, don't you worry, Sam. Everything's going to be fine.
Excuse me. Hello, Sam Aldrich speaking.
Mr. Aldrich, this is Centerville Station. We got a telegram here for you.
A telegram for me?
I think it's for you. It came in while I was out. It says Aldrich, Centerville.
Now, go ahead. Who's it from?
The president of the Express Company.
From whom? What's he say? What's it about?
He says, greetings. Am doing everything in my power to facilitate your bond drive. If you do not get fullest cooperation from our local representative, please wire.
Well, then you say that's from the president himself?
Yeah?
And he's doing everything in his power to facilitate our bond drive?
Yeah?
And what's the rest? If we do not get fullest cooperation from local representatives, please wire.
Yeah, and greetings.
Greetings. Yeah, but that's not the important part. And you say it's signed by the president?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure that's for me?
Well, it's addressed to Aldrich.
Well, then I guess it is.
Yeah, goodbye, Mr. Aldrich.
Goodbye.
Well, Sam,
What's that, Tom?
isn't everybody that gets a telegram like that?
I beg your pardon.
Now, tell me frankly, Sam, about how much space do you think this paper ought to give to make this drive a success?
Well, to tell the truth, that should be up to you. But we'd like a lot more than we're getting, a great deal more.
And frankly, Sam, I think you should have it.
Oh, excuse me. Hello, Sam Aldrich speaking.
Mr. Aldrich, this is Mr. Howard's secretary.
Yes?
Mr. Howard wanted me to tell you that if you feel we need 1,000 of those show cards, it's all right.
Yes? Well, I'm glad he came around to my point of view. I'm just sorry I didn't ask for 1,500.
Well, I think it would be all right if you ordered 1,500.
You mean it's all right with Mr. Howard?
Oh, yes, and print them any way you want to.
Yes, well, that's fine.
Sam, may I speak with Howard?
Miss Gray, is Mr. Howard there?
Oh, just a minute, I'll call him.
Here, Tom.
Mr. Aldrich, there's a gentleman in the outer office that wants to see you.
To see me?
From the express company.
Yeah? Excuse me, Tom. I'll be right back.
Hello?
Howard, this is Tom from over at the Times.
Yes?
Did you know that Sam Aldrich just got a personal wire from the president?
No.
Yes. And he told Sam if he doesn't get the fullest cooperation from us, he wants to...
Hello? Hello? Is this Clark?
Yes?
Well, Clark, this is White. Say, you know that golf game we were going to have tomorrow?
Yes?
Well, would you mind our postponing it for a couple of weeks? I'm going to be pretty busy on the Bond Club drive.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yes, yes. I don't know whether you know it or not, but the president's taking a personal interest in it. Sam Aldrich got a wire from Washington, and confidentially...
Mr. Howard, I have your wife on the phone now.
Thank you. Hello, Jenny.
Yes?
This is J.J. I won't be home for dinner, Jen.
Why not?
I've got to do some work on the bond committee. Probably be midnight before I get home.
But, J.J., I've arranged a bridge game for tonight.
Well, cancel it. The bond drive's more important.
Yes, dear. Oh, has Henry Aldrich been in touch with you?
No, what about?
Christmas cards.
Jenny, this is no time to think about Christmas cards. Goodbye.
Hello? Hello? Is this Sam Aldrich?
Yes?
Well, this is Clark. Say, Sam, why didn't you call me again?
What about?
The bond drive. We can't sit back and expect you to carry the whole load.
Well, I certainly appreciate that.
Don't you think we ought to talk to folks into investing 15% each week instead of just 10?
Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Extra paper.
Get your extra timeshare. Read all about the Bond Drive Parade.
Extra paper. Extra.
All about the Bond Drive.
Sam, just look at the float that's going by.
Which one?
The one just coming up to the reviewing stand.
Oh, yes, yes. Very good.
Is the float that Henry and Homer are on in sight yet?
Not yet. They ought to be along in a minute, though.
Sam, which company here in town bought the most bonds?
The Express Company.
The Express Company?
Yes, for some reason, the main office in Chicago wired that they'd be willing to top the pledge of any firm in town.
Well, what's that nice of them?
Hey, you know those show cards, Howard, okay? Look pretty nice.
Well, there certainly are a lot of them.
You know, it's weird J.J. Howard hasn't spoken to me since we put them up.
Oh, incidentally, don't let me forget to tell Henry when he gets home there's a package at the house from the Excelsior Greeting Card Company.
Yes?
Yes, it came this morning by parcel post.
Yes?
Sam, here comes the float that Henry's on.
Where?
Way down the street. See him, Sam? See him?
Oh, yes.
Sam, when did he get the truck?
The Express Company loaned it.
But Sam, why are Henry and Homer in tracksuits?
They're supposed to be relay races, Alice, don't you see?
Oh, yes, isn't that nice? What is that Henry's handing over to Homer?
A torch, Alice. See the sign above them? They represent the spirit of total effort.
Of total what?
Effort, Alice. Effort. This drive is the greatest thing this town has ever had.
Listen again next week, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with your favorite youngster, his family, and his pals. The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone, is written by Clifford Goldsmith.